On one random day, I decided to see how far vertically every fighter could go. However, I need to explain the rules on how I conducted this test. All characters will be on the same ground with no allies or buffs from external sources to help them, so I went to Zuka's warehouse for this. Secondly, I will do my best to try and get the most height I can with every character, with every tool at their disposal, and yes, this will also include bugs that I know of. And finally, I am not knowledgeable on every character, so if someone has a way of getting more height with someone, may answer in the comments below or just DM me anywhere with clips you have, because that would be greatly appreciated. Anyways, let's waste no time and just get into the characters, I guess. Sword is fairly simple as he really has no bugs you can exploit. The only hard part is really angling the ult explosion sending you up. The best way I could do it is by jumping right on top of the sword explosion. After that, it's pretty standard. Just a Q and another well-timed empowered Q to get the most height possible. Skateboard is ridiculously confusing. For those who don't know, skateboard players have a bunch of random tech they can find, with such amazing names as Mario Stunt. There's a lot of them actually. And realistically, I am not smart enough or good enough at skateboard to utilize almost any of this tech because I never played his character. So in this attempt, you'll see my half-assed attempt at vertical height from ground level. There are probably ways to do this better, but I am not good enough and I don't really understand too much skate terminology. Sorry about that. Biograph is ridiculously simple. Just E twice, and then ult to refresh all of them for 2 more E's. Katana is... okay, we'll get back to you. Oh, and also you too, Banhammer, we'll get back to you. Rocket is very simple. Just M1, jump, Q, ult to wait for cooldowns, and Q again. M2 is way too dumb because it could just send you at a more horizontal angle instead of vertical, so I opted to not use it. Slingshot, despite being a very air-centric fighter, feels very simple because he has so many airborne abilities at his disposal. So actually, his raw vertical height is surprisingly limited because most of it is more for horizontal usage. Hyper Laser is his slide jump. There's nothing special about this. Shuriken is a little bit cooler. His Q actually goes higher if it connects with an object rather than straight up Qing the sky, as you travel the distance to an object and the cancel gives more verticality. Aside from that, you ult for extra distance and that's about it. Scythe is pretty normal. You just need 250 ammo before attempting it. And yes, this is not an external buff, and I'm counting as such because ammo can refill naturally. So after you get 250 ammo, all you do is time your E's with the extra ammo, use Q, and then pop your Scythe for slight extra height. It requires a lot of abilities, but it's pretty simple in the end. Medkit has nothing due to the rules of only one player, so he gets nothing. Boombox can empower his Q, ult to refresh cooldowns, and then Q again for height. However, after doing that, I found a slightly better method by using his ult. Now, I almost never play rework Boombox ever, so getting used to the ult was very awkward, but I thought Q into an ult recast was the best I could get. Subbase is just an M2 into an E jump, it's nothing special. Vine Staff has nothing. Yeah, that's about it, I have nothing else to say. Coil really just uses a grab jump, grab M2, pops his ult, and then does a fusion Q for extra distance. Nothing special. Okay, so now that I've explained everything pretty briefly, I skipped Katana and Banhammer for a very special reason, because you'll see. You see, Katana's attempt seems pretty normal, however this is definitely not the fullest extent. Katana has a weird tech where his M1 can raise him up a wall, but only the first 3 hits of his M1. I had a friend do this in the in-game lobby with the ramps, but I don't think it applies to anything in Zuka's warehouse to the same extent. I decided to put that there because it's incredibly intriguing. And for Banhammer, yeah, his height is infinite. Okay, so let me explain. For those who don't know, Ban's Q Deposition is one of the weirdest moves in the game, and one of the weird factors it has is the ability Recast. Many abilities have recasts like Boombox Q, Subspace M2, and more. However, the tab menu is actually very weird with band hammers specifically. For something like Boombox Q, the ability works as intended even if a tab is pressed to pull up the settings and other menus. For some reason with Deposition, pressing tab and getting out resets band hammer to a neutral position, and his Q is immediately allowed to be used while midair due to the recast cooldown. If you do it fast enough and time it well enough, you could gain infinite amounts of vertical height by timing the tab presses and how much height you carry with the Deposition. Because of this, you can effectively gain unlimited height with Banhammer, making him, funnily enough, the character that could gain the highest vertical distance. It's funny because Ban canonically has wings, so I guess it makes sense in that case as well. And yeah, that's about it. I got nothing much to say, but in short, I made a tier list to tell you how much height every character could get by the best means possible. Alright, thanks for watching and see you later. Okay, bye, I guess.